Hello, everybody. My guest today is Parun Chadha. He's passionate about building collaboration software that inspires and enables teams. They're building the best board meeting experience through their OnBoard product and the most versatile employee collaboration experience through their employee portal solution called OnSemble. Their teams are uniquely focused towards customer success and meaningful innovation. They're based out of Lafayette, Indianapolis, London, Toronto, and he lives in Chicago. Parun, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely. Hi, guys.
So the company is called Passageways, and it sounds like you have two separate products. They're both SaaS companies, I assume?
They're both SaaS products. OnBoard is for board collaboration, and OnSemble is for employee collaboration.
And which one came first?
OnSemble came first. We've always played in the enterprise collaboration sandbox, and we went from employee collaboration to could we actually keep going, and the next adjacency was management meetings and then board meetings.
Interesting. So let me ask you, do most companies start with your OnSemble product and then you upsell the OnBoard product afterwards, or these are really two separate customer bases?
They are actually commingled. We have a lot of overlap, but there are most customers have one product.
Interesting.
Only.
Okay.
But we see more and more overlap.
Okay, so just because this is such a short interview, I want to dive deep into one of them. Which one would you say you spend more time on, or which one does more revenue? What's more exciting?
I think the board product is a great product to really talk about because most of the audience is going to be CEOs running companies talking about raising money and in board meetings.
Okay, let's do that. So OnBoard. So this particular product, what year did you launch it in?
We launched it about 4.5 years ago.
Okay, so I'll call it 2013, 2014?
Yep.
Okay. And help us understand, who you're catering to. So I assume, are the board members, the investors paying for this, or the company pays typically?
Typically, it's the company that pays. The product itself is to remove the communication friction between information that the management team pulls together for often monthly board meetings. Sometimes it's not monthly. You also have quarterly and all other variations available. Typically, the software is used by people who pull together the board information, general counsel, CFO, CEO, all those folks. And then this information is made available securely through an online portal that's also available through every mobile app, mobile platform like tablets and iPhones and such. And that's where board members and anybody else, this could be your auditors, this could be your counsel that are outside, they all have access to the information depending on their permissions.
And on average, I'm sure you have a lot of different customer cohorts, but just for the sake of time, on average, what would you say the average team kind of pays for the software?
You could get started for about $5,000 a year. It's per user, but our larger customers about $50,000, $60,000 a year.
Okay. Would you say maybe the average is closer to 5 or closer to 50?
The ACV is right around $7,000, $8,000.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So that's pretty typical, by the way, right? You have a long tail, kind of smaller, and then you have, a couple bigger ones that make up a lot of your revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good. Walk me through kind of the backstory here. So you launched the company in 2014. What was your background? Are you kind of ex-legal or ex kind of board seat holder, or why get into the space?
Absolutely. So when I graduated from Purdue in 2003, I started the OnSemble product line with a team that we put together in Lafayette, Indiana. And we got really good at secure collaboration and communication in the enterprise space. Right around when the iPads came out, which is April 2013, we saw that the boardroom access to information suddenly became very attractive on an iPad. And everybody was trying to think about what's the best way to dish out this information. That's when we started the journey towards the boardrooms. I started this company in the Purdue dorm room, and it was good to see us actually really get into the boardrooms eventually. Now we have some of the largest customers in the world using our product, including some very amazing nonprofits. Supreme Court in a country is using our product. Some of the Fortune 500 companies. Some of the biggest banks and hospitals using our product. So it's been actually really a gradual journey where we first learned enterprise communication and collaboration, and then we nailed the use case. And at this point, I believe from everything that I see, we are the most tech-forward boardroom solution in the market.
Okay, and try and quantify all this for me. So this is 4 years in. How many customers have you been able to scale to today?
We're talking about more than 1,000 customers at this point.
Okay. I mean, yeah, so obviously fairly aggressive. That's a lot. And what's the process look like? I mean, how are you landing these customers? Do you employ kind of an inside sales team strategy or outbound or what?
It's a combination. So most of it is, about 2/3 of it is inbound, and 1/3 is outbound. Outbound does have an SDR, effort that we put together. The team's based out of Lafayette, Indiana, and we also have sales offices in other areas, and including the names that you mentioned, Canada and UK being the main ones. Most of our SDRs are actually based out of Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay, and what's the team size today?
We are right around 100 people at this point, and about 15 SDRs.
Sorry, you cut out there. 15 SDRs.
Yeah, that's right.
And how many account executives does each SDR support?
So we have almost a 1-to-1 ratio on the SDR to AEs.
And how do you structure kind of their incentive plans? Is it around number of demos per month, number of calls per month? What is it?
Yeah, so the SDRs have to generate, an X number. It's between 10 to 20 sales qualified leads, and they get qualified when the account execs actually accept that opportunity.
Interesting.
At that point,
that's monthly?
That's monthly. So on a monthly basis, if you can generate about 20 sales accepted leads, you're doing pretty good. We win about 25-30% of our opportunities. It really gets into definition of how you define what's a win is. For us, if it stays in the pipeline for more than 4 months, we kick it back.
That's great. That's interesting. Okay, great. So 100 people, 15 SDRs, they've got to get, call it 20 sales accepted leads. That gets accepted by the AE. Then I assume that moves to a demo, and then obviously they're closing.
Actually, there's often a trial and then closing. But, sometimes the in-house team and the corporate counsel often does a trial. And then the management team or the board meeting may actually see the product in action. Every now and then you have a couple of people who want to watch a demo.
Yep, of course. And then have you done this bootstrapped or did you raise capital?
Bootstrapped all the way till, we got to the point where we really saw that we needed to actually play for growth. So just 4 months ago, we took some capital for the first time, actually, right after, we got to about, our main milestone was to have the visibility to 10 mil. And right then when we raised money, so that now we can actually, essentially take the product global. How
much did you decide to raise then all in?
At this point, we have about 5 mil on the balance sheet. But there's, obviously some line of credits and such that are available after this.
Did you do any venture debt as well or convertible notes, or that's all just 5 million equity?
It's equity. We raised equity.
Got it. In terms of visibility to 10 million, I mean, we can kind of do math here. 1,000 customers at that 7,000 ACV puts you at about 580 grand per month or 7 million in ARR. Is that generally correct?
That's generally correct for one part of the business.
Yeah, that's just one half.
Talk about, yes.
Yeah.
So that's where the basic math actually really may fall apart. But yeah, our goals, the board product line is, with some luck, we may actually be growing 100% next year. That's what we are shooting for.
What was growth like? Okay, so if you're doing, again, we're just talking about one side of the business right now, the board product. If you're doing 7 million ARR today, what were you doing a year ago?
We grew about 65-70% this year. I think we're right around 3.5.
Okay, got it. 3.5 million bucks in ARR a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're now 7 million, that'd be 100% year-over-year growth.
No, I'm actually, like I said, the difference is the ARR numbers versus the GAAP revenue numbers. But we did grow 65-70% this year. That's the ARR growth that we saw.
Yeah. So just to be clear, then, if we go back a year, again, I'm just talking about ARR, not GAAP, cash receipts, annuals up front, none of that stuff. Go back a year, November 2017. In that period, you were doing about 4.5-5 million in ARR, grew 60-70% to where you are today.
For the board business, absolutely right.
Yeah, again, the whole interview, we're only focused right now on the board business. Okay, great. And then what year did you launch the kind of the team management business, the other side?
So the team management business is our legacy business. We've been actually doing that. Even though a portal is what we've realized. Almost all elements of the communication between the board members and the employee collaboration are exactly the same. We launched that back in 2003.
Okay.
And we do have 350 customers, enterprise customers using that product.
Oh, that's great. Focusing back on the Board product here for a second, churn is critical in any SaaS company. What is your churn today?
Actually, we have been very fortunate with that. Our churn's, about 3%. Our dollar retention rate is, at this point, I think we are ending the year at about 108, 109%.
Okay, 109% net revenue retention?
Yes.
And when you say 3% churn, that's 3% revenue churn per month or per year?
Per year.
Okay, 3% revenue churn per year, which means then you're expanding 12% to get to net 109. That's great. That's healthy. Where's most of the expansion revenue coming? Is like number of board seat members, or what pricing axes do you upsell against?
I think we see a combination of three. We see some new licenses, subscribers being added because of just boards expanding. We also see some more committees being added. So you often have an audit committee or a finance committee coming on board. And then you certainly have, the upsell on the packages. We have 3 packages, essential, professional, and enterprise. So we do see people actually just, graduate to the next suite.
That's great. And you mentioned earlier your average ACV was, call it $7,000. So how aggressive are you being to get that customer? What's your fully weighted CAC on that account?
We, at this point, we're spending about $1 to get, about $1 in ARR.
Okay, so about $7,000 CAC to get a 7,000 account.
Yeah, we are pretty aggressive. We are doing multiple things. As soon as you get into global expansion, your CAC sort of gets out of hand. So
why is that?
Your CAC, you do have a lot of overhead to setting up an office in UK, setting up new payroll, a lot of legal costs that are, one-time costs. And then you certainly have the same for every country you go into. You're establishing new marketing channels and all of that. So I think the costs are, eventually they get caught up. For the moment, we know that there's no way we are at the same unit economics in our other geos. US is obviously fueling all the main growth, but we do see UK and Canada being actually really big engines of growth going forward.
Yep. And then when you add up your kind of your whole business, so look at your entire business over the past 12 months, what percent would you say the Board kind of product is relative to your old legacy product?
We are 2/3 of the product of the revenue at this point is projected to be Board product by the end of the year.
Okay.
And 1/3 is going to be our employee collaboration product.
Okay, got it. So I mean, if Board today is doing 7, and that's 2/3, if we add another third, so that puts you at what, 10 or 11 million total ARR by both products. Is that accurate?
That's the projection. That's what we're shooting for. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you must have a good idea. You got about 30 days left.
I have a pretty good idea, but what is interesting is most of my customer base is financial, and the seasonality is off the charts. Believe it or not, between now and the end of the year, I'm going to do 40% of the year's business.
Yep, that makes sense.
40% of the year's business, because there's a lot of budget flush that happens at the end of the year. These guys are planners, and about 50% of my business is coming from the financial services industry.
Yep.
The other verticals like healthcare, are similarly seasonal, but there are some businesses which are not seasonal. For example, nonprofits and higher ed, they tend to be not seasonal. Higher ed is seasonal, but they're centered around the academic year rather than the financial year.
Yep. All right, Parun, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Right now, I'm really digging Principles by Ray Dalio.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I love Elon Musk, but really, as far as studying, I really love Ratan Tata.
Which company?
It's Tata's in India.
What's spell the company?
TATA, Tata.
Oh, TA is the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And then number 3, what billing tool do you use for your company?
We're still using QuickBooks.
Oh, QuickBooks. Wow. Okay. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I've been trying to get, close to 6. Recently, I've been short on sleep. I have an 18-month-old at home.
Oh, wow. How many kids? Just one?
Just one.
And married?
And married, yeah.
Yeah, you, not the kid. All right. And Parun, how old are you?
43.
43. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I wish I knew the value of having a really well-vetted and close-knit leadership team.
Guys, there
Makes
you have
all the difference.
It does. Have a close-knit leadership team. Again, you guys heard it here. Launched in 2014. Basically a board management product. Hyper secure. Share the Boarddecks mobile, tablet, and makes it easy. Typically, people that are paying for it are the CFOs, the CROs, the CEOs on these companies that are preparing the deck. They've got over 1,000 enterprise customers paying on average ACV of, call it $7,000. So about $7 million right now in ARR, growing 60 to 70% year over year. They've raised $5 million to date, 3% revenue churn per year. That's gross. They add back 12% in expansion. So 109% net revenue retention annually, spending $1 to get a new dollar in CAC. So healthy payback period there of 12. Team of 100 people based in Indiana as they look to continue to scale. Parun, thanks for taking us to the top.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nathan.